got a classic black, silver, and white Christmas card today, and we are going to be using our star spray to create a beautiful background for this one. The other dies and whatnot we'll be using include here is your star spray, and that's the one we're going to be using for our background. The frosty mini background, we're going to do a bit of embossing with this one. I've got the classic poinsettia open petal, and that's actually been cut in silver for our flowers, as well as the classic poinsettia, which I've cut out of a black gloss card. And the pierced flags is what we're using for our sentiment. And the sentiment comes from the Peace, Joy, Love clear stamp set from Creative Expressions. Okay, put those out of our way and we'll get started. Now the first thing I've done is I've covered a piece of coconut white card with a sticky adhesive sheet. And I've done a few of these ahead of time just so it won't take too long. But I've cut several of these star sprays out of white. And so what I'm going to do is just pop them down along the edge here. Try not to overlap them. And just fill in right along the edge as much as you can. Let's put one more here. That looks good. And then use the waxy side of your backing paper to make sure they're all nicely pushed down. Now the other thing you can do is you can take and trim off little bits of these. So there's an area there that maybe needs a tiny bit more, so you can just take one extra one here and put this into place. Just fill in some of those more open areas along the edge. Get a couple more here. Pop that into place. Just kind of take some of the bits off of one of these. Just add in some extra bits. Now, once you've got all that covered in and you're satisfied with how it looks, we're going to bring it over, put a piece of copy paper underneath it. And I'm going to be using the Cosmic Shimmer Diamond Sprinkles. We'll put that all the way around the edge. And that'll fill in all that area that's still exposed with your adhesive. Okay. Get that area. Just tip it off. And we're going to be putting something in the center there, so I'm not going to waste a lot of our diamond sprinkles there. There you go. Get this last little corner here. Just make sure you've filled it in all the way around. Okay, I'm going to set that down and we'll pop this back into our container so we don't waste that and use that for a later project. So now I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim along the edge here. In fact, I like to do it looking at the back, and just use the edge of your card to trim away the extra bits of your star spray. You can also pop it into a paper cutter if that's quicker for you. Go. Just take off all the little ragged bits so it's a nice straight edge. There we go. Okay. Oops. I think I missed one right there. There we go. Okay, so now I've got a really pretty background with just a little bit of that edge that's going to show. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this into place with a little bit of glue, and we'll work forward from there. There we go. So I've done my matting layering. I've got the pretty silver with the black and the white. Put that right about like that. And I just missed one little spot right there. There we go. Okay, so that's ready to go. Now that's still kind of sticky in there, but we're going to put something in the middle, so I'm just going to leave that for the moment. So the next thing, I want to use the mini frosty background to do a little bit of embossing. So one of the easiest ways to do that is to have your cutout bits still in the die when you do that, and that way it won't tend to cut through. It's not always a 100%, but it does tend to make it a little bit nicer. So we'll just put that into place. And I'm going to just center that right in the middle of my card. Bring over my embossing plate with the tan mat and put my base plate on top of that. We're going to run it through our grand caliper. You can hear the die going into the card there. There we go. that up. So if you do have any areas, there's just a couple here that have actually cut through from the back. You can put a little bit of tape on that and you won't even notice it. I've already got one I've done ahead of time. Done a little bit of matting and layering, and I've added 3 little black dazzlers to the corner there, so I think that'll make a nice background for our flowers. Put some mounting foam on the back. And we'll put that in that center section right there that's still a bit sticky, so we probably have one chance at this getting it nice and straight. Lean over a tiny bit. That looks good. So you can see just that edge that we put the star spray is showing now. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've done some of the poinsettias, and I used a black gloss card for the classic poinsettia and a little bit of that silver edge around it. It's just really pretty like that. So I've got a few of those and some tulle. I'm gonna, there it is. Put that on with some glue dots. And I like to seat my tulle first, and we're just going to put that off to the side like that. And I have my sentiment. I stamped the Joy to the World, and I've got a white with a silver mat on that. Put that down across the card here, right at the bottom. And we're going to add in our poinsettias. And you could use one large one if you like. I've got 2 on here. I think that's quite pretty the way that looks. One down to the bottom. I'm just going to try and seat that right underneath my sentiment. And one up a little higher. And what I think the finishing touch for this is a couple of these star sprays. So I've got 3 of them left here. So I'm just going to pop them into place with a little bit of glue. Some on the top and the bottom. And I'm going to seat that right underneath this one, so it comes out over my embossed area. And there's 2 in this set. They go different directions, so you've got a little bit of curve to them. So I'm going to put the one that curves this way down here on the bottom. And then you've got one that you can trim, and I think I'll trim this down just a tiny bit, make it a tiny bit shorter. And we'll put that in the center. Just kind of coming, yeah, let's go like this, underneath this one, coming off the back. You can place it however you like, but I think that looks really pretty. So isn't that a gorgeous Christmas card? I think that's very classic. You've got a little bit of that extra detail, and it ties in nicely with that star spray coming out from the sides of your flowers.